There is a blueprint buried in a declassified intelligence vault, detailing exactly how to erase a human identity and rewrite it from scratch in under 30 days. The architect of this protocol was not a rogue military operative, but the sitting president of the American Psychiatric Association. And the subjects he broke were completely unaware they were being dismantled. Patients walked into a sprawling stone mansion in Montreal, seeking treatment for mild anxiety. Months later, they walked out, unable to recognize their own children, their memories wiped clean like a formatted hard drive. How do you delete a human soul without spilling a single drop of blood? And more importantly, what happens when an elite intelligence agency takes that exact formula and scales it for mass behavioral control? In the late 1950s, Dr. Ewan Cameron transformed the Allen Memorial Institute into a covert testing ground for the CIA's MKUltra Subproject 68. He theorized that the human mind was merely a cassette tape, and if you found the recording unacceptable, you simply had to record over it. He called the erasure phase de-patterning. Subjects were placed in chemically induced comas for up to 86 days and administered massive, unregulated doses of electroconvulsive shock. This was not deployed to heal, but to shatter. The goal was profound cognitive regression. Cameron demanded his subjects be reduced to a primal state, where they forgot how to walk, how to speak, and entirely who they were. Only when the subject was completely fractured, stripped of all psychological defenses, could the true engineering begin. The medical staff believed this was radical therapy, but what happened behind the heavy steel doors of the sleep room made the intelligence handlers rewrite everything they knew about human submission. Once the mind was wiped, Cameron initiated the second phase, a mechanism he labeled psychic driving. Subjects were fitted with modified football helmets wired with internal speakers. For 16 to 20 hours a day, a tape loop played a single, repeating phrase, a calculated neuro-linguistic anchor. The voice on the tape belonged to Cameron himself, commanding the dark void inside the subject's skull. You are inadequate. You will obey. You are entirely dependent. They could not turn it off. They could not look away. The repetition bypassed conscious thought and burned directly into the subconscious matrix. The handlers discovered that if a fractured human mind is subjected to the same auditory stimulus 500,000 times while paralyzed by curare derivatives, so the subject cannot move a single muscle to scream, the brain stops resisting and simply absorbs the command as its own internal voice. This was not a medical failure. It was a terrifying triumph of psychological warfare. The agency realized that physical torture was obsolete, because if you control the sensory input, you dictate the reality. Psychic driving proved that belief systems are not sacred. They are highly malleable. They are engineered. Cameron weaponized isolation, sensory overload, and relentless repetition to build a backdoor into human consciousness. The project was eventually shut down, buried under black ink and heavy redactions. At least, that is what the official public records state. And right now, someone is using a refined version of this exact protocol on you. The crude football helmets of Montreal have evolved. The mechanics of psychic driving and de-patterning were never discarded by the architects of society. They were merely perfected and digitized. The foundational principle remains identical. fracture the target's attention span through endless, overwhelming sensory stimulation. Keep them in a state of perpetual low-grade anxiety to bypass critical thinking. Then feed them the loop, a repeating sequence of images, phrases, and ideologies injected into a glowing screen you carry in your pocket. You consume the loop 16 hours a day. The algorithm is the new handler. The digital platform is the new sleep room. Your identity is being subtly de-patterned, piece by piece, and overwritten by corporate and political operatives who demand your absolute obedience. You do not resist because you genuinely believe the thoughts you are thinking are your own. That is the ultimate dominion. To hold the strings while the puppet fiercely defends the illusion that it is dancing freely. Now, pay very close attention to the silence in your mind. Are you certain the desires you hold were placed there by you? The invisible architecture of control surrounds you, heavily armed and constantly broadcasting. If you do not learn to identify the psychological weaponry actively breaking down your mental defenses, you will be overwritten, you will be formatted. There is only one protocol designed to insulate your consciousness against this invisible warfare. A masterclass in cognitive fortification and covert defense. It is called the Sovereign Mind. This digital blueprint is not a self-help guide, it is a weapon. It will teach you how to see the strings, dismantle the conditioning, and establish absolute dominion over your own reality. Secure the sovereign mind now, or remain a passenger in a head that no longer belongs to you.